Hey y'all, it's Kara. You probably already know from the title of this video, but I have an announcement to make. I am pregnant. My husband and I are expecting our fourth child later this fall, and I wanted to share the news with y'all. I've been kind of keeping it a secret for a while now, surprisingly. I've been filming most of my videos from like here up, so you haven't been able to see my ever-growing giant belly. My eldest son asked that I wear this shirt today. It has a little baby popping out of it. I got this shirt actually when I was pregnant with my first child, and he loves this shirt. Every time I get pregnant, he wants me to wear it. And it's just kind of a fun way to make the announcement today, I thought. Gardening season is going into full gear here, and I'll be filming a lot more YouTube videos with garden harvests and things like that. And as I'm walking around the garden, I didn't want you just to be like, oh, I wonder if she's pregnant, because I think it's kind of getting pretty obvious at this point. So that is my special announcement for today. We are expecting baby number 4. And stay tuned to the end of this video, and I'll let you know if it's a boy or a girl, because we know the gender too. Sitting down here on the front porch right now so I can chat with y'all for a few minutes. This is baby number 4 for my husband, Ryan, and I. And we're very excited to be adding to our family. All of our children are about 2 years apart. So we've been able to keep that age gap, and it's been working really well for our family, and we've really been enjoying it. I definitely love being a mother. I have many titles in my life, as does anybody. Obviously, y'all know I'm a gardener and I like to bake and cook, but more important than either of those is the fact that I'm a mother. I love being a mom. I love raising kids. If I had to choose between gardening, baking, and cooking, obviously I would choose motherhood first and foremost. And you know, there are many hats that moms wear and people in general. So I definitely am busy, and I get a lot of questions all the time on how do you do everything? I don't do everything, but I thought I'd share a couple tips today about how I do accomplish different tasks and get things done with currently 3 toddlers underfoot. Now, this YouTube video is a good example. Right now, everybody's taking a nap. I do a lot of my YouTube filming during nap time or after the kids go to bed. Sometimes the kids are also just playing in the background of different videos of mine. Pepper is sitting here next to me. And I just want to put a little disclaimer. I've kind of set myself a rule that I've chosen not to share my children's faces on social media. So I don't post their pictures on Instagram or on YouTube videos, obviously. And that is mainly for their safety, but also because I don't want them to ever feel like I am using them for the video, if that makes sense. I used to be a professional photographer, and I would do newborn photography and family photography and children's photography and weddings. And I would post pictures of my firstborn. He was my model when I was just getting started. I would take newborn pictures of him and pictures of him as a toddler and stuff and post that. It was very much because I love my child and I want to share my child, but also he was a model and I would use him as part of the business. And it never really became an issue where I felt like, oh, you have to smile right now so I get this shot. It was more of, oh, I'm mixing the 2 worlds together. And I'm trying to keep them very much separate. I want YouTube, which is a little bit of a business for me, to be separate from my family. I don't want my family to ever feel like work. Does that make sense? I'm hoping this is coming across the way it is in my mind. I know sometimes words and thoughts and like getting them out there is difficult, especially when you're pregnant. I don't know about y'all, but whenever I'm pregnant, my brain just seems to disappear. Pregnancy brain is a real thing. But circling back to kind of answering why I don't have my kids on the YouTube videos is because I want to maintain their privacy, and I don't want them ever to feel like I'm exploiting them or I have to have them do something a certain way or act a certain way for the video. I want them just to be kids, and I don't want them to feel that pressure, if that makes sense. And also, I want to be present with my kids. That's one of the reasons I don't film a lot during the hours that my children are awake, unless they're playing with their dad or if they're like doing some other activity that's involved with me, even though you don't see it on camera. I want to be present in their lives and give them 100% of my attention as much as I can. And if I'm sitting down talking, doing a YouTube video, they don't have 100% of my attention. So that's my little preference of why you won't see my kids on YouTube. That doesn't mean I don't love them though. In fact, if I would be posting pictures of my children, it would be constant every day because my camera roll is filled with probably millions, not exaggerating, photos of my children. And, you know, I was a professional photographer back in the day, so I have lots and lots of pictures, and I love taking pictures. Now, how do I get so much stuff done in the garden with having 3 kids? I involve them a lot. So earlier this season, I have just recently posted a tour video showing everything that's planted in the garden. And if you watched that video, you'll see that in different sections of the garden, I let the kids plant seeds. And there's a clump of, 300 green bean plants in a little 4-inch by 4-inch section in the garden. And that's because they were planting them. And I really enjoy letting them get their hands in the dirt and letting them have fun in the garden with me. One of the reasons I also didn't film planting the garden, most of it, this spring is because I wanted to have the kids involved. And I wanted them to be out there and fully be present with them and interacting with them as they were planting the garden with me. It's really fun to have the kids in the garden. Now, sometimes they pull things they're not supposed to pull. Sometimes they harvest things that aren't ready to be harvested yet, but they're having fun and they're learning and they're having a great time. Just last night, actually, my oldest son came in so proud because he harvested 2 really big onions from the garden for me to use for dinner. And while those onions are beautiful and they will be delicious and we will enjoy them, they weren't quite ready to pick yet. They would have gotten a lot bigger if we had waited a few more weeks. But he had such a big beaming smile on his face and he was so proud of himself because he helped harvest something from the garden. With gardening, another way that I've been able to accomplish a lot in the garden is by figuring out what practices work best for our area and for me personally. As I have more children, especially, and more projects going on, I try to make things as automated as possible. In the garden, probably one of the biggest things that has really helped us have large harvests and success and more time on our hands has been the drip irrigation system. I plan on doing an updated drip irrigation kind of tour showing you what we have and our systems we have in place. But I do have a couple different videos on drip irrigation on our channel you can go watch of how we set up our irrigation. But all of our drip irrigation is on timers and it waters the garden automatically. It's fantastic because where I was spending 2 hours a day watering the garden, I don't have to do that at all. That time is now given back to me and I can spend that with my family and with my kids or doing some other project around the homestead. I do have an affiliate link for dripdepot.com that's in the description box of every video. I get a small commission if you shop after you click on that link. Now, I love drip irrigation so much that if you don't want to use Drip Depot, that's fine. Go find some other drip irrigation website to order from and get it in your garden because it's truly a game changer. However, Drip Depot's customer service is fantastic and I've had nothing but positive experiences with them. I've ordered a lot of drip irrigation with my own money through them. But the drip irrigation, that gives me back 2 hours where I would be watering. And then the other thing that's been really helpful is staying on top of weeds. I am not perfect at this, especially when I'm pregnant, because the round ligament pain has been pretty rough here the last few weeks. So bending over, pulling weeds has not been easy. And I'm really thankful for all my friends who have volunteered to pull a few weeds when they've come over for play dates and things. Thank you guys. But pulling weeds in the garden is a chore, and it's something I kind of enjoy because it's satisfying to see the end result, but it still takes up a lot of time. I try to reduce the weeds as best I can. The raised bed garden really helps reduce weeds. Now, I have raised beds primarily in I'm looking over there because that's where my garden is, primarily in the vegetable garden. And then around the house on our landscaping beds, one thing I did before I planted any bed was I killed off the grass with tarps. Now, what those tarps do is it creates kind of like a greenhouse solar effect where it heats up the soil and causes any weed seed that may be in the dirt to go ahead and sprout, germinate, and start to grow. But then there's no sunlight and it gets too hot, and then it kills those off. So it kind of, kills off any weeds that may be in your soil and gives you a good base foundation layer. And then after I would do that, I would add cardboard on top, plant my plants, and then mulch it heavily. Mulch really does a great job at suppressing weeds. If you get that soil covered immediately, like as soon as it's exposed, it'll save you so much headache and frustration and time in the long run. So I'm able to have lots of garden spaces because I've reduced weeds from the get-go. And also, by staying on top of mulching, it just kind of helps keep any weed seeds that may fall. Perhaps it'll fall in the mulch and not straight onto dirt soil contact, and they won't sprout. Now, obviously you still get weeds, but by having mulch, it makes the weeds a lot easier to pull. Same thing in the raised beds. There's weeds in my raised beds. I weed every day, probably a little bit every day, but the weeds are so much easier to pull than out of hard in-ground spaces. The other thing about raised beds is it keeps little children's feet, for the most part, off of the plants. By having them up and, that little bit of a wall barrier of the raised beds, it keeps the soil loose and light, and it keeps your feet off of them, although the kids still sometimes climb into the beds, and just keeps everything growing and healthy. Now, the kids like to help me pull weeds. They are out there in the garden pulling weeds with me sometimes, and sometimes they will bring their tractors and they will scoop the mulch in between the raised beds or the rocks and just play and hang out right next to me. And we're chatting and we're talking and hanging out together as a family while still getting tasks accomplished. And that kind of circles back to how do I get so many tasks accomplished? I bake and I cook, and I involve the kids with that. We cook all of our meals from scratch primarily, but I am not above getting a frozen pizza or getting Domino's occasionally. I talk about pizza a lot. Maybe I'm craving pizza. Or, buying something pre-made from Costco. We definitely do that too. But for the most part, our meals are made from scratch. And I like to involve the kids with that. Just last night, my eldest son and my middle child made pancakes for everybody for dinner. I got the griddle out and put it on the kitchen island, and they helped me mix up the pancake batter, and then they poured the pancakes and made sourdough pancakes for the whole family for dinner. And while they were cooking pancakes, I was on the other end of the island making flower bouquets. And I put those flower bouquets out in our farm stand. We have a little farm stand at the end of the road that we sell stuff at. But I've been able to, multitask, get things done while also teaching the kids and, interacting with them and being with them present the whole time. Now, it is really nice that I can earn a little extra income, which I do earn just a tiny bit through YouTube and through the views. And when you comment and like and share videos, that helps me earn a little bit more. So thank you to everybody who's subscribed and is an active part of our community. It's nothing substantial. I would say. However, it is nice as a mom just to, earn a little extra income and feel like I'm contributing to the family household budget in some way. Plus, with gardening and growing flowers, it does bring a lot of joy. And I love that I'm able to raise my kids that way and that they're able to see where their food comes from and have a hand and a part in it. And I also feel like my kids aren't very picky eaters at all because we grow such a large variety of food and they have a hand in cooking. And they often help me cook dinner and other things, even if they're just chopping something up on their cutting board while I'm cooking on the stove or something. There are many ways you can accomplish different things. I definitely have the how hard can it be gene. That was something that my dad probably gave to me as a kid because he pretty much never, that I can remember, hired somebody out to do something. That was always something he did himself, and if he didn't have the tools to do it, he'd go buy the tools to do it and then do it himself. And that's something Ryan and I both kind of have as a mindset philosophy is, how hard can it be? We'll figure it out. We'll accomplish this task and get it done. And it's nice to have the kids involved in those different tasks too. I briefly mentioned a second ago that we have a farm stand. My eldest son helped draw up the blueprints for the farm stand, and then all three kids, including the 1-year-old, were hammering nails and helping with the screw gun and painting and building it all together. And they're able to, be very proud that they were able to actually put in a lot of help into making that happen. Same thing with any other project we're doing around the homestead. We are always involving the kids and having them be a part of it. The video where I was mulching trees, the kids were right there with me spreading mulch for a lot of the trees. I just didn't show that portion in the video. They're always involved in pretty much some way, shape, or form in every aspect you see here on Bluebird Homestead. They are really a part of this family, even though I don't show their faces. I think I've made y'all wait long enough. Let me tell you the gender of this baby. So I am due, again, with our 4th child this fall. And we currently have 3 boys, and this baby's a girl. I'm shocked. I'm still kind of in shock, but we're very, very excited to be adding to our family. We would have been excited if it was a boy or a girl. In fact, I kind of thought it would be a boy when we started trying for our 4th child. I knew just in my heart, I thought it was going to be a boy, but I was wrong. It's a girl. And we did an ultrasound with the whole family as our way of kind of revealing it to the kids. We took all the kids to this local ultrasound place that's in a strip mall, and they did a 3D ultrasound of the baby and showed all the children, they were all sitting on the couch, what the baby was. One kind of funny story with the fact that it's a girl is the day before that ultrasound, we were all sitting around the table on the back porch eating dinner, and I went around to each of the kids and said, what do you think the gender of the baby's going to be tomorrow? Logical question. My eldest said that he thought it was going to be a boy, and then my middle child thought it was going to be a girl, and then my youngest, who doesn't really talk yet, he's 1, he said, a girl. And mind you, he has never said the word girl before. And that's the time he chooses to talk. He just started saying mama this week. And up until that point, I was dead convinced that this baby was going to be a boy. And then I was like, okay, he thinks it's a girl. Maybe there's a chance it's a girl. And sure enough, the next day we found out that it is in fact a girl. There's a phrase in the Bible that sometimes I bring up saying from the mouths of babes, where, children are sometimes prophetic and know things that we don't know as adults because they're more in tune to things or God speaks to them or whatever. But I was like, oh, maybe. he's a 1-year-old and he's saying it's a girl. So, and he was right. So we'll never know if that was from God or if he was just guessing. But, you know, I like to think that was from God. Obviously, this baby is from God, and I'm excited to be having a little girl. I've actually already started a flower quilt for her, and I'm working on that. I'll be sure to show y'all once that is complete. I have made a quilt for every single one of my children before they're born. Some it got finished after the birth. Some I have finished before the birth. This one I'm on track to finish before the birth though. So I will maybe do a quilt tour for you guys. That might be fun. If you guys are interested in seeing all the different quilts I've made, leave a note in the comments and maybe I'll film that for y'all. It's been fun and exciting this time around though to be able to make one with flowers on it. So the quilt is lots of different flowers in all different colors put together. And, you know, up until this point, I've had 3 boys and all my quilts have been blue and green and boy themed. So it's been a lot of fun to look at the different fabric selections and play around with that. Anywho, I hope y'all have enjoyed this kind of informal sit down on the porch. I was excited to share the news that we're having a little baby girl. So I hope, oh, a bird just swooped in and grabbed a bug off that plant. Scatterbrained. Anyway, I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and hopefully this video wasn't too rambling and you were able to follow my scatterbrained train of thought. Bye, y'all.